Welcome to Dreamers to Leaders, Keeping It Real with Melody podcast. Melody is a classic dreamer who started as a flight attendant and worked her way to now a tech fashion trendsetter, thought leader, and dynamic entrepreneur in various industries. This podcast is for the dreamers and doers. Learn how to think, act, and speak big as business leaders share how they turned from dreamers to leaders.
Hello, everyone. My name is Melody, and I am the host of Dreamers to Leaders podcast. Our guest today is Marc Anthony Nicolas. He is a two-time Emmy Award-winning supervising producer for top-rated mainstream talk shows like Kelly Clarkson, Tyra Banks, and the Ellen Degeneres Show. He has been inducted in the Asia Hall of Fame and among other outstanding awards from multi-categories from different organizations. He is also actively involved in nonprofit organizations like the FilAm Arts, which is a nonprofit that is dedicated to help Filipino artists. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Marc. Hey, Marc, welcome to the show.
Hi, Melody. Oh my God, it's so great to be here on your show. And I've heard so much about your show, and I'm just so glad that I'm finally here.
You are here, my friend. And before we dive in and listen and hear about your journey as an entertainer, as an entrepreneur, let's first dive in on how it was for you. You know, starting in the industry, in show business and the business world. How was it like starting out?
Oh my God. I come from humble beginnings. I was actually born in the Philippines, and I came here when I was 4 years old. My mom and dad, literally, my mom was a banker. My dad was a truck driver. So I didn't grow up with a lot. Like, me and my sister slept, we had a one-bedroom apartment. Me and my sister slept in the bedroom, and my mom and dad slept in the living room. But as a little kid, I didn't know what a one-bedroom was or like a mansion. But all I knew that like I had a roof over my shoulder, over my shoulders and over my head.
Why not?
And I was just like, and I just felt the love from them. And I knew at an early age that I've always wanted to be in the entertainment industry, and I would always I walked home from school and I would go straight to the television, and my mom's like, why aren't you playing with the other kids, playing football and basketball? I'm like, Mom, I really enjoy television. At the age of 7, I was literally dissecting the monologue, the dialogue, the lining, the wardrobe at the age of 7. And my mom was like, you're always watching television. And I'm like, I love it so much. And I'm like, Mom, what are the names of those names at the end of the television screen? And she's like, oh, anak, those are called credits, end credits. So those are all the people that help with the show. And I'm like, Mom, one day I'm going to have my name at the end of the credits, at the end of the credits. A talk show. And I manifested that like at the age of 7. It's crazy.
It's super crazy. You know, I came from a family where most of them back in Asia, most of them are in the entertainment field. So, it's the same. I remember stories of my grandfather, Jerry De Leon. I don't know if you would know him, but he Hall of Famer in terms of directing. But he's a doctor. He was a doctor, but passion was directing. But as a kid, the story was he would be always after school in the movies. You know, I think it was silent movies at that time, but also like you, analyzing everything, just mesmerized with the whole cinema, the world of cinema, right? So, so listening to you, it seemed like there is that tinge of truth with the American dream, right? You dream of something, and here in America, that is possible. But I guess anywhere in the world, if you really just put all your love, effort, and whatnot. So let's start with how it was in terms of the challenges that you faced, and how did you pick yourself up?
Yes, Melody, like one of the challenges I face is like, of course, every mom and dad wanted their children to be in the medical field, but I'm just like, I don't like needles. I don't like blood. I don't like anything, but like, I loved my mom so much that she's like, Anak, can you be a pharmacist? And I'm like, okay, mom, I will. So I actually got a job at Kaiser Permanente here in California, Bellflower, California, and I got a job as a pharmacy assistant. And I was always reprimanded for talking to the patients because I love talking. And I'm like, oh my God, Mr. Smith, what prescription are you going to be picking up? Oh my God, how's your wife? Oh my God, are you feeling good? So, and there was probably like 50 patients trying to pick up their medicine, but I always spent at least 5 minutes with a patient saying like, how's the family? It's getting cold. It's winter. You better stay warm. So I was just like, I always had a passion of talking to people and seeing how they're doing. So fast forward, I was there for 5 years and I was getting always reprimanded by my pharmacy manager. He would go, Mark, you're always talking too much. Mark, get them in and out. Mark, we have a line. And I'm just like, this is not for me. I'm so sorry. So then I didn't know what I was going to do. So temporarily, I got a job as a server, as a waiter at Olive Garden. Now, Melody, you've heard of Olive Garden before, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we love their soup, salad, and breadstick. It's
Soup,
so
salad,
good.
and
Yes.
oh my God. Yes. I think that's one of my dad's place to bring the family.
It's so good. And even till now, I like always go there and I'm reminded of my stomping grounds. So I was like, got a job as a waiter and I was the best waiter they got because I was getting tips and tips and tips. And so like I was telling my coworkers at Olive Garden my dreams of wanting to become in the entertainment industry. So one of the lessons I learned, not a lot of people know, is that people always say like, protect your dreams, don't tell your dreams to anybody. But for me, it's the total opposite. And I want all your viewers and your listeners to know that you should tell your dreams to everyone and anyone you meet, because it just takes one person out there to make those dreams come true. And for me, it was Lindsay, who works at the Olive Garden. She's like, Mark, I'm leaving. And I'm like, where are you going? She's like, I just got a job as a production coordinator on a reality show. And I'm like, this is my big break. And I'm like, please think of me because I always wanted to break into the entertainment industry. And 2 weeks later, I get a call from Lindsay, Mark, there's a production assistant job available. It's not the glamorous job in the world. Literally, you have to get coffee. You have to drive the producers. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm there. I just need my foot in the door. Even though it paid minimum wage, I didn't care because my passion was so engrossed into becoming part of the entertainment world. And then I worked at the reality show. I had a smile on my face. I was getting lunch orders. I was driving people. I was cleaning the toilet. I didn't care because I was part of like the industry that I always wanted to do. And then for me, like the show ended and I'm like, now what I'm going to do? Second lesson I want you and your listeners to learn: work hard because it will never go unnoticed. So my hard work didn't go unnoticed because one of the producers got a job at MTV and she's like, Mark, I need you to be my casting assistant. And I'm like, what is that? And she's like, basically you go around Disneyland, you go to clubs, you go at the parks, you get me 15 gorgeous people who have big personalities, take them to MTV Santa Monica, California. And every Friday, I'm going to select them and take them off to dating games and shows like that. I didn't know I was so good. I guess I was because I was always talking a lot. I exceeded for 15 people. It's 30 people now. I got promoted from a casting assistant to a casting producer to now a casting director to MTV. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the life I've always dreamed of. I was working there for 3 years. Now, Melody, and during those 3 years as a casting director, I thought like God and the universe said like, this is it. This is what you long to be. But no, I get the phone call of my lifetime in my office at MTV and ring, ring. And I'm like, hello. They're like, hello, Mark. This is the Tyra Banks Show. And I'm like, yes, how may I help you? Tyra Banks and the executive producers heard of your casting skills. They want to interview you to be the casting booking producer of the Tyra Banks Show. So I got the job, moved my life from Los Angeles to New York, and that's how my name spread like wildfire on the talk shows. And then I worked for Ellen Degeneres Show, the Kelly Clarkson Show, and now the talk on CBS. And I've been in this industry for more than 15 years. And that's basically where I began.
Thank you so much for sharing that journey. I'm having goosebumps. It's just one open door, one door after another opening up for you. And I totally get it. You know, when you put your passion, your energy, right, and your hard work, as you said, it does not go unnoticed. So yes.
Right. It doesn't go unnoticed at all. And I wanted to remind you guys that, like, you know, I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. My mom and dad was a banker and truck driver. I was always bullied as a kid for being Filipino, for being gay, for speaking another language. And I just felt that the odds were against me, but you just have to believe and always protect your dreams, because look at me. I was serving pasta and pizza at Olive Garden, and now I'm serving 2 Emmys.
I know. So let's talk about that. Thank you. Walk us through the first Emmy award. I mean, receiving that, hearing your name, and really being acknowledged by the industry for your hard work.
It is. And I always like thought to myself, every single talk show, every single show, I'm always the only Filipino producer there. And it's just so sad that Hollywood hasn't given the Filipinos a chance like to shatter that ceiling. Yes, we may have cracked the ceiling to get like the Filipinos noticed. And I know a lot of Filipinos want to be in front of the camera. A lot of Filipinos want to be producers in back of the camera. And it just saddens me always that I'm in a room full of Caucasian white men, and I'm always the first and only Filipino producer there, trying to pitch them ideas of like Asian stories or Filipino stories. And honestly, it saddens me that every time I do pitch it, it does always gets denied. But that makes me a stronger person, because every no, it will be 2 yeses in the future. And look at these 2 yeses.
I know. So how was it like? So now getting that first Emmy, and then the second, and you know, we want to see more to be in the Hall of Fame, right?
Yes, yes. And I always I was on stage, and I literally, Melody, got flashbacks of my life when they were like saying that, like, you know, the Outstanding Talk Show. I really didn't ever think that I could ever reach this goal, because basically the Emmys is the goal, the acknowledgement that you'll receive in television, like how the Grammys are for music or how the Oscars are for movies. The Emmys are for television, and it's the epitome and it's the golden standard of hierarchy that one can get. And for me, being the only Filipino on that stage for both these Emmys, it was just like a dream come true. And these 2 Emmys are honestly, it's not for me. I always say this, but it's also for every Filipino who has a dream, for every Filipino who has been bullied and who has been ridiculed. And I just want you to know that, you know, this Emmy isn't for me. These Emmys aren't for me. It's also for the Filipino community and also the Philippines, because mind you, I was born there, so my heart was born there, but I may live here and won this Emmy, and my heart always lives with the grace of God that like these 2 Emmys are for the Filipino community. It weighs so much that I have to like literally like put it down. 15 pounds. Look how big it is, Melody. Wow. It's literally the size of my chest to the top of my head. So you can see it's well over like 15. But yeah, so like whenever I was on stage, I just reminded myself that like dreams honestly do come true, and with hard work that anything could happen. Nothing was handed to me in a silver platter. Like I had to like dig and claw my way up to get these 2 Emmys and to be noticed.
Did you say 15 pounds? Do you sometimes in the
Yes.
morning get those two instead of a dumbbell? You use those awards to
Yes.
motivate you more.
Yeah, I'm
That's
like
a
this.
lot.
It's so heavy. It's so heavy. Yeah. So
But
yeah, like
listening to you, there's also the why. I hear the why, right? So, and as they say, what fuels a person to just keep moving forward, to keep reaching higher heights, right? Is because they have that powerful why. And for you, it's hoping to break that proverbial ceiling, right? And allow others to shine, right? There's the
yes.
mentality of the abundance mentality. It can't just be in one type of people, right?
Mhm.
It's the talent. The talent is everywhere, and I think that's also where you shine as a casting director. You could
Mhm.
see beyond whatever the stereotype of what could be the talent that the mass audience can perceive as talent. You could see beyond, is I
Correct,
think.
correct. And that's what I always say. Like another lesson I want you and your viewers to know is that whenever I was a casting director, and until this day, I have these things called ABCs. And so whenever I meet someone, and I'm like, do they have what it takes to be a producer? Do they have what it takes to be an actress? So as I was a casting director many years ago on MTV, I always had these ABCs whenever a person walks through the casting audition. A is the attitude. Do they have the attitude to be this person on television? Do they have the positive attitude? Do they have this kind of charisma? So A is the attitude, B is the brains. Are they knowledgeable of this show? Are they knowledgeable of the script? Did they actually prepare? Do they have C, which is the confidence? Do they have the confidence to electrify not only the people that are working on stage, but to electrify the people and the home viewers? So then, I always bring that. Then that was like 15 years ago, and I always bring those ABCs whenever I meet someone. Like, hey, Mark, like I really want to be like an actor. Hey, Mark, I really want to be a producer, and I'm like literally eye to eye with them. And I'm always thinking to myself, I'm like, does this person have the A, B, and C's? Because if they do have the A, B, and C's, like I'll go for it. And if they're not fully invested in the A, B, C's, I'll let them know what to work on, because like I feel that if it's their dreams, they should know there's room for improvement.
I like it because it's almost like saying this is the foundation. You can't go to DEFGHIJK if you don't have the ABCs, right? But
Correct, correct.
it's interesting that you said A is for attitude and B is for brains. It's not beauty. It's not the superficial. And I think that's also for the viewers to know that, hey,
Yeah,
your
right,
looks
right.
can only get you so far, but it's
Correct.
really
And we all know looks will fade as you get older, but one thing that will not fade is the beauty that's inside. And a lot of the times I know that the person in front of me when I'm casting is not like the greatest looker, or it's not the model, but I'd rather cast her or put her in a movie or film than the one that looks like the goddess. Because if this person that's like average looking has what it takes, then I'll totally pick them. So beauty could only go so far. And so like I'll pick the person that has those A, B, and C's.
right. So for our viewers out there, it's good to do a self-check,
Right.
are you doing something to boost your confidence, right?
Yeah. And
But
always dress for the part too. You don't want to be rolling in when you're meeting someone of authority in your sweats or in a hoodie. And also, for me, it's also dress to impress. And for me, if you want something, you have to dress the part. If you want to be a talk show host, dress the part. If you want to be a producer, dress the part. Because it only takes one, and because a person has 5 seconds to
five
judge you,
seconds,
and we
I
only have 5 seconds and the thing that we're judging is the appearance. So we only have 5 seconds. And like I said, you may not look like the most amazing looker in the room, but if you're presentable and if you speak clearly, then you'll get the attention. It just takes 5 seconds to get that.
that totally validates why we are here today, having this one-on-one and later meeting each other face to face, and me actually touching your Emmy Awards. It's because the first 5 seconds, the first few seconds really with you, the first hello. What was do you remember what our conversation was? The first hello, like, I like your energy. I think it was you or it was me who said that, right?
Yes.
So energy was the first thing. It was all over the phone. There's no face to face, but the energy was enough for
Oh
us to
my God.
carry our conversation. Isn't that true?
I think it's so amazing how, voice is energy, and a lot of people don't know that voice is energy. Voice translates into your cell phones to another line, and we feel that when someone is smiling, even though they're like at home, we know that someone is sad, just the tone of their voice. So
So
with
true.
energy, your voice is your energy, and that's why we like, hey, we're like so happy that we met each other.
Exactly. And I think more so in the entertainment field, there's so much layers of barriers that you have to really tackle in order
Hmm.
to get through, let's say, the audience or to the people that would make decisions, etc. Because how you are behind the camera and how it's projected on the screen, if the wattage, right, your wattage, if your smile has that thousand whatever volt of energy, it does penetrate. It does show, right? Where
Yeah,
right now I could feel
it does.
your energy.
Yeah. And like when I'm producing shows, like I'm always smiling. And whenever I'm in front of the camera, I'm always smiling at. Well, I think it's because like I walk into CBS studios sometimes every single day, so grateful and so thankful that
Mhm.
like I'm here. I am thankful for the Almighty God and the universe for blessing me with this life. And, sometimes like I do pinch myself whenever I'm walking on stage or when I'm meeting celebrities, and I'm just like, this is what dreams are made of. And looking back as like a person in high school getting bullied or a server, serving soup salad and breadsticks to winning my Emmys, it's like a level of things. And I'm just like, I worked in silence behind closed doors, and I knew that this is what I wanted. And like I was never like I was always humbled, and I was always like trying to help people. As I get to the top, I try to pull as many people as I can to the top, because there's always room for everybody at the top. And it just saddens me that like there's this crab mentality where people try to like
Right.
pull each other down. And for me, that's not how the way that how my life works. And that's why like
Yep.
I have a new show that like I'm always like
I
promoting.
know. So we're going to
Promoting this
touch on
show.
that really quickly. On meeting all these celebrities, from
Yes.
Ellen to Kelly Clarkson,
Tyra.
Tyra, and all their guests that are also A-listers. What has been was there any teaching moment or something that you really took away from those celebrities who have reached that the pinnacle of success, let's say in talk show or what have you? Is there one major takeaway or an aha moment that you would have not learned had you not met this celebrity or this person?
Yeah. So of course, like I've worked with Sharon Osbourne, and she's just such an amazing person. And one day I was like literally in her dressing room, and she's like, Mark, what's wrong? And I'm like, oh, I'm just having a bad day. And she always told me like, Mark, everything is temporary, nothing is permanent. And you just have to like walk out of my dressing room knowing that you are hand selected to be only 7 producers on this show. And in my mind, I don't really think of like just me. I just think like it's my life, but like just to think like as an outsider, there's only 7 producers for every talk shows. And you know how many producers there are in Hollywood, in the world, that want to have this position. And so honestly, Sharon always says, just work hard. Don't let anything get you down. You are a masterpiece. Mark, you are an asset to this company. Remember who you are and don't let anyone push you around. Don't let anyone take what you have, because you, Marc, you alone are the only person in this world that can say you are Marc Anthony Nicolas. You are an original. You are not a copycat. You are not a Xerox copy. You are one person in this billion humanitarian world. And just remember, you are that one person and no one else can be like you. And whenever I got out of that dressing room, I'm like, damn right, no one is like me. No one can produce like me. No one can talk like me. No one can look like me. No one could have my voice, and no one can do whatever I do. So we always have to remember, Melody, and it goes for you and the viewers at home. You are original. Don't let everyone tell you that they're other. And that's what I always say, that you are one of a kind. And for me, that's a lesson learned. You always have to remind yourself, you're one of a kind. Out of all these billions of people, you are not going to find a Melody. You are not going to find a Marc Anthony Nicolas, right?
I'd like to take the opportunity to also pitch the book that is launching. It's called Celebrate. So
Okay.
it's Celebrate, and it's spelled SELL, so like celebrating. But and in that book, it talks really about that. Celebrating your uniqueness is what I gathered that resonated. That's aligning with the book. The first 5 seconds, is super important, because that could make or break a deal. And the passion, the energy, the enthusiasm, all that needs to be included, like in your ABC, in order to close a deal, in order to celebrate, success, in order to have success. So now let's talk about your amazing show that is airing on March 24th, right? March 24th.
Yes,
So it's
March.
just around the corner, and it has, I love the title. So let's talk about that. Tell me about, what went on for you to, how did you pitch it? and how is it that now you are launching it?
I don't think I've ever told this story before. I've always wanted to be being in front of the camera and having my own show. So I was pitching GMA, which is an amazing top Filipino network. Like GMA is over 100 countries. So I was pitching them so many ideas, and I'm like, okay, how about me singing to across America and making people smile? And they're like, no. And I'm like, how about me going to restaurants and learning how to cook? They're like, no. And then I'm like, oh, gosh. I'm like, how about me interviewing Filipino trailblazers? And they're like, we like that idea. They're like, but we have so many Filipino talk shows that interview Filipino guests. So what makes yours so different? I'm like, this is the aha moment. I will tell you what makes mine so different. I am wanting to pitch you an idea called Make Your Mark, where I interview Filipino trailblazers that have made their mark in their chosen field. So whether you're a chef or an entrepreneur, a real estate agent, a singer, anything and everything, I want to interview that person to see how they made it, how they impacted their community, and how they reached their goal of success. I said, but there is a catch. I'm inviting a second guest, a teenager or a 20-year-old who idolizes and who wants to be like the trailblazer. So if I get a teenager or a 20-year-old who wants to be a chef, a teenager or a 20-year-old who wants to be a singer, I am giving them full access of this trailblazers who have already been in this situation of being this teen longing for a dream. So now this trailblazer is the mentor, and now this youngin is the mentee. So with both of us, all three of us, we're going to collaborate and make a show none other than itself. There's no other show like this in mainstream. There's no other show like this in the Filipino network. So I think I made an amazing show that is a give back, a giveaway, a good feel-hearted feeling. And that's what I love. It's like getting to know these people, but helping others along the way.
Wow. You know what's awesome about that is, you know how even in makeup, you see transformation, right? And people like that. People
Yeah.
like to see transformation. And what you're going to show our audience, your audience, is how you can transform. So there's a lot of subliminal messaging there, right? Like, hey, this is how you
Correct.
look now, but this could be you, right? And then there's
Yes,
that
yes.
how, The Apprentice was also a show people resonated. Even
Yeah.
even was it Tyra Banks with the fashion show, right?
The
Those
top model.
top model. So those that don't really look like models, but they get transformed along the way. And there are people like that that get hooked on seeing that
Yeah.
transformation. And I think with you, with there could be a second part of that where and then you just add it where now this is them, fast forward. Those like
Exactly, exactly. And I've gotten so many like great guests, of course, like Boya Bunda, of course, King of Talk, Jessica Soho, megastar journalist. I got Kenneth Barlas, who is a ultimate fashion designer who's dressed Janet Jackson, Carrie Underwood. I've gotten Renella Ferrer, who opened up for
wow.
Nelly and who sings the national anthem for the Lakers and all these amazing things. So it's like I interview like the top trailblazers that
Wow.
will inspire these young people.
So that's truly you being so creative and very business minded as well. So the art and the science to it is, I
Yes.
think, what you have cooking in there.
Yeah.
Because if you look at what's really successful and what has the highest rating, from American Idol to the
Mhm.
America's Top Model, et cetera, et cetera. It's looking at talent. So you having that talent already for casting,
Mhm.
you could see
Yes.
who could potentially be the best apprentice, the best mentee, and partner,
Yes.
and casting also the mentor for this mentee. So using your already tested,
Hmm.
multi-awarded
Yes.
talent, using that, and then casting the right people, partnering them, and showing people how the evolution happens.
Yeah. And
Almost,
I think I got like a little bit. I feel like this show is a little bit of all the shows I worked on because
right.
the Ellen Degeneres Show is all about giving back, making a change in the world, making like people's lives a little better. So Make Your Mark is kind of like that too. So that's from Ellen. With Tyra, I feel like she's so down to earth and so like, even though like you're a top model, you're all be humble and be down to earth when talking to your guests. So I learned from Ellen about like the giving back. I learned from Tyra being humble, and Kelly just be entertaining and be at that moment and letting it shine. So like with all these three mega stars, I think like all Ellen and Tyra and Kelly now is all in me making Make Your Mark. So I just realized that there's a little bit of all those talk shows on Make Your Mark. So you'll see it when you see the show.
I know. So we are so looking forward. Even the title, I think, encapsulates the theme of what you're
Yes.
trying to do here, making your mark. So wonderful, very brilliant
Oh,
idea. So share with our audience how they can make sure that they support your show and learn from your show.
yes,
How
yes.
is that process?
Yes, my fellow family and friends, please support and watch Make Your Mark on GMA Pinoy TV. It'll air in over 100 countries like the United States, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, of course, the Philippines, and many more. So all you have to do is subscribe to GMA Pinoy TV and follow them
Mhm.
on Instagram, which is GMA Pinoy TV. Also, you could follow me on Instagram, and my name is right there at Marc Anthony Nicolas. So that's my Instagram name at Marc Anthony Nicolas. And there you'll get the behind the scenes on all my Insta stories, what goes on producing. You'll see Make Your Mark, you'll see CBS, and basically you'll see like the day of the life of a Filipino person who has made their dreams come true.
I love it. Hey, and true to our theme with the dreamers to leaders. So you're one of the epitome of what is was a dreamer and we'll always be dreamers, right? To
Yeah.
now leader with those two beautiful 15-pound gold-plated Emmy behind you. Wow.
Thank you. Yes, this is for everybody, you guys. We
I
did
love
it. We did it.
We did it, and more to come, right, Mark?
Yes, many more to come.
So for our audience out there, you know, of course, we're here to support. Let's support. And you know, Mark, this concludes our show. Wishing you continued success, and see you later.
Thank you so much, Melody. You're awesome. You're an awesome host.
Dreamers out there, you got this. Till next time.